Thank you for joining me. This is Katie Whitledge with the Beyond to the Technique podcast. I have a good friend here because she's going to teach you about an exit policy. I had actually never heard this really talked about before. What's your exit policy? If somebody's going to leave your salon or spa, do you have a policy around how they should go about it and how you plan to go about that? That is so smart. It's like so simple yet so smart. And a lot of people do not have that put in place. And I think we are in a vicious hamster wheel when exits happen and we are just reactive people because everybody may exit a little different. And depending on our biases for one another, we might handle it a little different. Well, I have the one and only Jennifer Alvarez here who joins us outside of Chicago in Naperville, Illinois. She is an award winning salon owner who really does the elevated everything. What I love about her, she owns her real estate, which is huge. And many owners strive to get to that level of ownership for their salon or spa business and has realized the importance of luxury services moving into the hair extension space before it even was like the popular thing to do and has made a name for her business there. She has found the dream of getting off from behind the chair, working on the business instead of inside of it, and works to scale. And now, in today's culture, her big passion is helping other salon owners find that freedom. So, she's here today to share about this exit policy and why it is so important for your business. So, without further ado, help me welcome back Jennifer Alvarez, my dear friend. How are you, my sister in Jesus?
Thank you so much for having me back. I'm really excited to talk about this because I truly believe that it will help people sleep more peacefully at night. And I do believe that we're called to serve and help other people. And even you said this in one of your podcast episodes, Katie, about your pain can be your purpose. And let's not let chaos or a problem go to waste. Let's use it to build strength and unify our industry. So I'm excited to be here today.
Oh, I'm excited to have you. And it is very painful to even have to confront this, but it makes so much sense. Every business listening, because if you're listening, I know that you care a lot about your business and you're in it and you want to absorb and learn all the time. So you probably already have an onboarding protocol. You have processes in place when somebody new joins the team, but you have that same thing in place for when they exit. And this whole like, here's how I want you to properly exit. This is the part I had never heard before. So tell me, like, out of a painful place, where did this new policy start with you?
Well, of course, it started because of a painful experience that I had last year. And this is definitely a not just an industry problem. I think a lot of other industries outside of the beauty industry face this type of retention for their high performing teams. And the challenge that the industry is facing is that oftentimes your revenue producers feel like they have this glass ceiling that where am I going to go from here? So we understand the importance of having a growth path for our team. But if it's in their heart and desire, just like it was yours, it was mine, of I'm going to open up a business someday, we have to be able to honor that dream and be able to provide a path for those people to do that gracefully with honor and thinking about how do we protect the morale and culture of the people who have stayed and also thinking about the clients and how confusing and stressful that can be for them as well. So this all happened because I had some team members leave and they left in a way that was not pleasant for the team, the clients, for them, and of course myself. It's always emotional. And when emotions are high, IQ is down. And I thought, there's got to be a better way to go about doing this rather than people being deceitful and vicious and harmful to our business and the people involved. So that's why I said, let's create an idea of how they can exit in a way that's good for both parties.
I know it's interesting how, like, where did this even stem from? Like it is this not spoken about thing where if you're in a commission salon, the exit is the secret thing, and there's going to be some people that know and some people that don't know that you're working on this, you're going to go da da da. So talk to owners right now about the threat of not having the exit policy. What are the things that are bound to happen that have continuously happened? Because here's the thing, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and thinking you might get a different result this time around. No. So, what are those things that happen um, behind the scenes that really can threaten the culture, the, like you said, morale, the uh, trickle effect where we then see salon owners who are having these walkouts. So talk to us a bit about that.
Well, you said it earlier, where if we don't have a plan, we have a tendency to be reactive. And I personally, and probably the listeners would agree, when we start to become reactive, we start to act crazy. We do things that may be out of character. We start to lose sleep about it. We're stressing over things that we may not be able to control. And we are just, we're scrambling to find a solution. And the problem is that people are unsure of how to approach leaving. And so because of that, they'll go to their colleagues and they'll tell them their ideas. They'll start to tell customers about it. Everything is secretive. And I don't like that. I don't really like surprises. I don't like secrets. I want to be transparent. As salon owners, we pour our heart and soul into our businesses. We spend probably the majority of our money on our, not just the company overall, but our people. We spend time with them, we spend our money with them. And it just leaves us with this bitterness and resentment of our own business because we don't have a of action in place. And so, how do we prevent that team member who wants to leave from sharing these secrets either online or with the clients or with everybody else but you? See, I knew there was a problem when my vendor reached out to me and said, "Hey, this person's leaving. They reached out to us. They want products." I had to hear it from other people. I went to order some products, some capes with our brand name, and they said, "Well, you want the same as last time?" I said, "Yes. Can you just remind me what that looks like?" And it was not my brand, it was that person's brand. It was just like such a stab to the back that I said, it didn't have to be like this. I care about my people and I want to see them grow. And I think a very rewarding aspect of this industry is being able to pass the baton. And there's even future business opportunities as well that we could propose, such as investing in other people's endeavors as well. People are going to need capital to start their companies. Why not be a part of that as well and help them grow this next adventure and be able to even be a part of it if they wanted you to? But the reality is that most companies, they don't have anything in place. And so this is why it's a huge issue. And we're up at 3 a.m. thinking about, oh my God, are they leaving? What are they saying about me behind my back and not to my face?
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting. What I like that I'm hearing is that change has to start with us as the owners and leaders because, you know, where else is it going to begin? I've had team members who don't even tell me they're quitting. They tell somebody else to let me know, or just they think that's the only person that should know. And that is very hurtful. And I think for owners like you and I, there's this sense of, and I don't want to say guilt, but almost like, do we even deserve that because we are not on site? There's a sense of like, well, we must not really care because out of sight, out of mind. And that is definitely an insecurity that I carry where I'm like, am I doing good enough? What should I be doing different, better? And I tend to look within because it's tied to that fear of like, am I actually called to this? Am I good enough for this? I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but I do agree with you that the change in this has to start with us.
You know, there is different legal documents that we can have in place. However, every state is different of what is legal to be able to enforce. And so it's a shame that business owners are the ones that don't have the favor of federal or state when it comes to employer-employee law. And we should be protecting our assets. We have spent all of our time and money growing these people, filling their books, and for them to walk away in that type of manner, taking maybe 60% of the business that you've helped them cultivate, along with the skills set needed to produce a high revenue. It's important that we have different protection, but because we do have some limitations, what is the workaround of that? And so that's why the departing protocol came in place. And it was really actually a team effort into creating it because I wanted to make sure to ask them, well, what do you think would be the right thing to do? And when we're creating policies, procedures, systems, I think it's really important to get your team involved with it because the more that they have a say so of the creation, the more they feel a part of the growth and the vision of the company.
It's a really interesting business model. It is a wild, wild west. There is no standardization, and that's why compensation structures are all over the place depending on where you go. And it is tough as a business model to say, I want to sign up for a business where the average profit margin is 3 to 8%. And anytime I have a team member leave, I lose revenue and clientele. So when you feel like you've climbed the mountain and grown the business, the team, the people, the community, something happens, it comes crumbling down, and you have to start from ground zero. Now, I know a lot of salon owners out there saying, like, I don't have a non-compete or a non-solicitation or any type of employee agreement. And they really pride themselves on that. And they might be 3 years in and they're still behind the chair. If you ever want the freedom of having a business that works while you sleep, which is the ultimate dream of being a business owner, and for everybody listening, if you own a salon and spa, you are a small business owner. So there is that to come to recognition in. So, is this a business that you want to provide a passive income and a future legacy to allow you to comfortably retire someday? Or are you really just owning the spot where people can have a job for a little while and then you start back over and you start back over and you yourself are tied to, if I don't perform, this won't perform? That is a really tough call. So I'm curious, do you have an employee agreement or a non-compete in place?
I do. And it's interesting because I came from a salon that I worked at for 11 years and had a non-compete that I signed. So my first thoughts when I left is, oh, I would never do that. It's so corporate. And it wasn't until I started my own company and had employees that I realized that actually was a smart move because they're just protecting their assets and I understand why. And I did when I left that company. I didn't know how to leave, and I ended up leaving in a way that, in looking back, I don't, I should have done it differently, but I didn't know how to leave. And so, I went maybe about 6 miles away and had to build my salon from my clientele again from scratch. And, this was 2016, so social media was still getting some traction. It wasn't like it is today. And so I really had to learn what is marketing? How do I grow my business? And so I was a little bit bitter at first about it. However, when you start to train people, you pay for their education, and then they leave, you realize, well, this doesn't seem very smart because I'm spending all my time and my money trying to grow this aspect of my business, and I'm not getting a return on my investment as quickly as I'd like and as long term as I would like. And that's why I said I do need a non-compete, a non-solicitation in place, and also an education reimbursement agreement in place as well because I'm willing and I believe that all salon owners should be investing in their assets, their revenue producers, their employees so that they learn high level skills so that they can increase the amount of income that your business can have from that particular person. but you have to protect that as well. So we have implemented so many systems and policies in place, but this is what is making me sleep better at night. This also is telling my employees this is how the game is played. You want to stay, you do it this way. You want to leave, you do it this way. And this way, we're very clear. And that to me, I think is really important of how do I grow? How do I earn more? Make it as clear as possible. Make it obvious for them so there's no guessing.
Mm, I like that. Clear is kind, you're right. We hear this everywhere all the time, yet we shy away because we're like, but are you okay with that? Because if you're not, I might rethink it. You know what I mean? Like as owners, we're just like really bending over backwards to figure out the win across the board. And what I've kind of realized in this particular season is there is no way that we can make everybody happy and create a win that everybody's going to be completely satisfied with. And it is not our responsibility to provide the contentment for the lives of others. We can provide the opportunities, but we cannot be in control of that. And so we need to let that go. So, with your exit policy, you started with, it sounds like, talking with the team about it. Did you come in with a bit of a framework? Tell us a bit about that and what it is. Because everybody's like, okay, get to it. What is your exit policy? Let's start.
So let me just back up just a moment because after I had some of my team members leave and it, depleted about $20,000 in revenue, which I'm sure a lot of salon owners, if you've had any type of walkout or a high performing team member leave, you understand the revenue influx that can happen because of that. So we had a quarterly team meeting. We always have a quarterly team meeting. And this is where I said, look, this is what's going to be in place. It's a non-compete. If you decide that you're going to leave, you have to go 7 miles away. Now, again, make sure to consult with an attorney of what is possible for your state, because in my state, for Illinois, it is enforceable. However, there is also a policy in place that protects the employee that if it's under 2 years or if they make less than $75,000 with your company, it's not enforceable. And so we have to know exactly what is possible for your state with these documentations and sign everything. Sign the onboarding policies, sign the handbook, sign the non-compete, sign the non-solicitation. You have to protect your assets, which is your client list, the formulations, anything that is helping grow your business and revenue, you have to protect. I enforced that at our team meeting, and there were tears. There was a lot of scared feelings. I told them, consult with your lawyer, but if you want to keep this job, you have to sign it. So it was an ultimatum. You either sign it or you leave. Because if they didn't sign it, what is your intentions? Are you planning to leave and be secretive? Because that's not what I want to have here. I need to sleep at night. And when you leave, this is what your staff doesn't understand. When one person leaves, that hurts them because that person who is spending maybe $10,000 a year could be spending 10,000 a year still in your business with someone else. And they're going to their suites or their salons like, congratulations. Are you guys blind? You're missing the point of protecting your own business behind the chair. So we had to have some tough love conversation and I connected with them one-on-one and they said, "Well, what if I want to open up a business?" And I had to really remove myself emotionally from the pain that I just experienced to say, you know what, they're right. They need to know what it could be possible. And one of the things that one of my team members said and was very upset, very emotional about it of I can't imagine starting my own business without your mentorship. And if I have to leave and I don't have your support, I'm just like beside myself, upset about it. Like, we've spent so much time together. Why does it have to be like that? And I was like, you're right. Why does it have to be like that? And so I sat down and I thought, okay, what could be fair that would be a win-win situation? So then we created a departing protocol.
Well, let's get into it. First off, thank you for sharing all of that. I'll just say that you have massive balls, big kahunas for being willing to sit down and be like, sign it or leave. I think many owners would shy away from that, and I just want to give you mad props. I'm kind of also in a season of respecting women with convictions. Like, you got a hill to die on. Some, you know what I mean? Like, you'll never have haters. You'll never have people poo poo anything if you never stand out and step up for what you believe in. And I do just want to say that I really respect that about you and admire that about you. I'm going to get into one of your viral posts here in a moment, when we get closer towards the end. But first, what is your departure protocol or that exit policy?
So, and I'm happy to share a link. Anyone can take this. I'm transparent. I'm an open book. And when we were talking about this with the team, I told them, I'm like, do you guys not realize you don't have to steal from me? You don't have to take from me. I will give it to you.
Mm.
But the fact that you have to take from me, what is wrong with you? I have spent all my time and my money nurturing you. I care about you deeply. And for you to turn around and do something like that to me is such a shame. And I think when they realized how I emotionally felt about it as well, we were like, yeah, we really need to come to an agreement on this. And so the protocol basically is saying, here's how you're going to leave. You're going to tell me first without telling anyone, because I can also help you. I have a lot of resources and connections. I even financially could be in a position to help you as well. Because when I started my salon suite, I mean, I put maybe $10,000 into all my products and equipment and things like
Wow.
that. And so the first protocol is you have to tell me first. You cannot tell anyone on the team. You can't tell any of your clients. If I catch any wind of it, you've broken the protocol, which means I'm enforcing my non-solicit, non-compete if you fall within that category. The step two is that we finalize in a written notice what their last day will be. And we want to make sure that we're looking at the appointment book because, especially if you've got a team member who's fully booked, we have to come to agreement together of like, what do we do with these customers, right? When I had one of my team members left, they left at in not the best way. We had a wedding to take care of in 2 days. Can you imagine ruining a bride's day because of someone's choices? And thankfully I was the one who stepped in for the bride. But if I wasn't available, it would have been awful.
Or have the skills. I'd be like, well,
Yeah.
let's try something
Yeah.
different on the bus party.
And I will say, like, you said, "Oh, I'm proud of you for, stepping up and having this conviction." I prayed so hard. And was I scared? Yeah. Could everybody left and said, I don't like the departing protocol. I don't like this non-compete. I was willing to take that risk because I can't sleep at night. I am worried, and that's not a place to operate a business in. So you have to be audacious and say, what is going to help me lead my team with confidence? So finalizing that last working day, so that you can map out what do we do with the customers, right? Then step three is having an internal team announcement. I want the person who's leaving to tell the team. So we use Slack for our communication. So they will create a message to send out to the team publicly so everybody knows at the same time. I will also, heart the conversation. I'll say, congratulations. Thank you so much for your time here. And we want to make sure that everyone is just on the same page because we know the reality of secrets really causes a shakeup of morale and culture, which then hurts performance. And so we want to make sure that we're protecting that as well. So, internal team announcement is step three. Step four is then a client and public communication plan. So, my departing protocol is I will tell all of your customers, if you agree to it, your number and where you are going and when you are going. Because we believe that if the customer has that decision, here's what we're leading with transparency, honesty, and trust. That client may come back to see us. If we give them the choice and we say, here's where this person is going, where would you like to go? How can I help you? that really gives them a better taste in their mouth versus like, oh, they don't do hair anymore and we're secretive about it. Like, how does that make you look then like a company? You want people who do business with you who trust you. And this is how you're also building trust. You're also telling the employee, you don't have to solicit. I will market for you. And it's really interesting too how, the reaction of people are like, oh, okay, well, I'm actually going to stay. Who else do you think that would be good? And then we send them the Maya quiz and, we find them a more suitable artist that is within our location. Clients might bounce around, so let them decide what's good for them and let's just have integrity in this process. Then on the last day, we have a celebration for that team member, and we make a public announcement on our social media, letting them know that they are, having their own business. We thank them for how many years they've been with us, and we make it a celebration, right? It's how you as a salon owner are coping and handling this because people are watching, people are judging, and so we have to be mindful of those who are watching, right? It's your team members who've stayed that are wondering, how is she going to handle this, right? Because we have to be supportive as well of how they emotionally feel about it. We have to support their business and have to thank them with gratitude of thank you for your loyalty and dedication to this company. Because without you, we won't be able to take care of our customers.
Yep.
So that's really the whole gist of it. We also have that, you will not take the client's information or formulas. That's our private property, that's our assets, and that's not yours to keep. However, again, we will personally call all of your customers that you have seen within the past 6 months, active customers that we personally call and say, hey, this person has left. Would you like their information? We want to make sure that you're well taken care of. And we do appreciate your business.
Yep.
And we are clear about what they can and cannot do as far as their final days. Because what if you need to keep that team member on for a full month because they're booked solid? I mean, wouldn't you rather have the revenue and to know that, that together we're able to have this departure that feels good and it can feel like a win-win? If there was any education that you have paid for, we are a hair extension salon. Those classes are very costly. And if that person decides to leave less than 12 months, we are asking for that reimbursement. That's also a part of our onboarding is that there is a education reimbursement policy in place that if we haven't recouped our return on our investment, you will be paying us back for that. And then having an exit interview so we can get feedback. Some people have that dream that they want to open a business, and that's great. But if they're leaving because they didn't agree upon something in your business, it's the opportunity to get feedback to make things better. Now, you may not always see eye to eye on how clients feel or how your team members feel, but anytime you can get feedback, it's an opportunity for you to say, let's be unbiased and let's zoom out here and see what could we do to make this better, or if it's just part of our policies of protecting the culture and the morale for the future success of our company. And we also want to make sure that they know about vendor transparency. Our vendors will call us. So don't try to be sneaky. And in fact, if you need help with vendors, if you need capes, if you need products, if you need help with your website, guess what? I know all the ins and outs about it. I have connections. And guess what? I'm happy to help you. I also mentor people. You can hire me as your coach. I will help you get your business up and going. You don't have to be sneaky about it. You don't have to steal. You don't have to take. If any part of this agreement has been neglected, if it has not been
Upheld.
respected,
Upheld, yeah.
yeah, then I will go back and say, you signed the non-compete, you signed the non-solicitation, you need to go 7 miles away. I'm not supporting you. You have to protect your business. And I know it may sound harsh, but you have to let the team know that you're serious about this and that this is a win-win situation for you and for I and for your team members as well and for your customers. And that's really what my heart was in the creation of the departing protocol is let me help you and let's do this in a very graceful way.
Do you, for the together finalize the written notice of the last day and then map out the plan for clientele? What does that entail for the client? I mean, this is the big thing everybody's thinking about. Do you have a policy where they like pay to take a client list? No, they don't get the list, but you'll tell them everyone, tell every. So how does that piece of the puzzle kind of get mapped out? Does it
So we
depend on the person and the situation they're in?
Yeah, so we connect with them in a one-on-one meeting and talk about, here's some the clients that we are going to be reaching out to. Is there any clients that you do not want us to tell them where you went? So because you have to make sure that they sign on that as well, so that you're not also invading someone's privacy and respecting that as well. Everything has to be documented. Everything has to be signed so that this is as clean and orderly as possible. And we also let them know what do these messages look like, or what are we going to say when we reach out to the customer? What is the message that you're going to send out to the team? What is going to be that final social media post that you make and I make as well? We talk about the day that we're going to publish it. We talk about what time we're going to publish it. Everything is spelled out and as clear as possible so we continue to move forward in the same direction.
I don't wish this upon you, but have you gone through this now that you have the policy in place? Twice.
Twice.
Okay.
Twice. And it felt really good. I felt like I could sleep. It felt good to my team members. And in fact, one of my team members that left and opened up their own suite, I also have a bridal company where I hire independent contractors. She's still a leading bridal artist on our team, and she still comes back into the salon to do bridal hair and makeup. So it's a really good feeling, and all the team members are aware of it. And that's why I believe like we don't have to burn bridges. I have great
Mhm.
financial opportunities for you in the future if you so wish. Even hosting classes together, collaborations. We have to think about, if this is a good feeling where everyone is doing it the right way, we could still have a partnership somehow in the future.
Yeah, I just want to point out like some owners are scared about backlash, um seeming like a toxic owner, having there be got gossiped things about you as an owner. You will never be everybody's hero, and also you're not the villain, and so you need to kind of let both complexes go. I've seen salon owners lives destroyed because of things said online or on social media. I've had negative things said, and you know what, move on, because everything will play out over time, and you cannot shy away from putting those. Just what do you want for your business? Do the things you dreamed of, the things you want. Some people are going to be aligned with it, some are not. I love that in the midst of a hard thing, you created a win across the board. And on
I'd
the
like to
same
think so.
time, with that,
I'd like to think so.
and on the same time, I want to speak to any leaders or stylists listening who may be a part of the team of somebody who is the owner, and you may or may not have this policy in place. Like, this is a very small industry. So you never, 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 never want to burn a bridge, because you don't know how that's going to come back full circle. And I'm not talking about karma and whatnot. I'm just saying, like, everybody eventually knows everybody. And when people have great integrity and honest hearts, like, that's all going to show. So it doesn't matter how much poor things are said about the owner. When they are a good person and they actually do the right things, your bad mouthing will not actually end up having any effect that you may hope it will, but it will hurt you, if not now, at some point. And I just want to put that out there because it was important to me when I, like you at that point, went to exit and start my own business, I gave a 60-day notice. So you said 1 month. What if they're still there for a month? For me, it was 60 days. To this day, talk about full circle. The salon owner I started with now uses Maya, our software. How full circle is that? And we get together a couple times a year for coffee. And she's a real advocate and support for me. And we can joke about there were times I probably was, because I was young, like hard to deal with on certain days. And then I joke about different things, but you want to have that. I said in every other circle of our lives, think about your church or your friend group or wherever, your gym, your other companies that you, like you said, your vendors, how you coach salon, any other circle you're a part of. This would never go down the way it does or feel as shitty as it does, like it does for salons. And that is not right. So I'm with you. I was so thankful that you could be here to share this policy. For everybody listening, I want to tell you this. Go to the link in our show notes to follow Jennifer on Instagram because she puts out really quality education and content. One of her posts went viral and over almost like 3,500 people liked it. It says nobody claps for the salon owner, and just go through that carousel and read what she has to say. And I know you're going to resonate and it's going to land and you're going to feel it deeply. This is not easy for anybody to get into, but you are not alone. And it's professionals out there like Jennifer who have your back, as well as we do here at Maya through the Beyond the Technique podcast always. So I appreciate you. I know there's more to this, and you're going to provide a link. People can go grab this policy and adopt what they like about it. So I appreciate you, my friend, for that. Before we're done, what would be some final? I know you're like writing this down. Like now I have to get Katie what she just said. I promise everybody. I know. Bringing the value to you,
Uh,
everybody. I love ya. um, Hey, you said it first. I'm just gonna put that out there. No, we're so fun. Okay, what would be some final words of encouragement or wisdom for salon owners who do not have this in place and maybe a little nervous to do it?
Well, the first thing you always have to do is pray in your business because you have to surrender to the results and outcome. You can't
Mm,
make people happy. We just talked about that. We can't always please every single team member, but you have to do things that are going to protect your business and all of the hard work that you have put in. I do believe that looking at your business holistically of where are the problems at? Where am I losing sleep at? And how
mm,
can we create a policy and a system in place? Now, my thought process is always create a win-win situation because when you create a situation where there's going to be losers, it never is going to have a good outcome. So, how do you create something in your business that both people can win and thinking about your customers? You have to protect the customers, those who are spending the money. And so even, create a rough draft. I have conversations and deep dive search with Claude AI, and
mm,
that is where you can start to develop your own policy. I would connect with your team in a meeting and say, here's an issue that we're facing in the industry. I need to protect you behind the chair in my own company, and we need to have something in place. Even getting your team together to say, what do you think should be the consequences? What do you think should be fair? And taking their thoughts and opinions and feelings into consideration to making them feel a part of the decisions that are being made, then taking all of that, throwing it back into AI and say, create me a step-by-step product policy and procedure in place that is going to solve this problem.
mm,
Create a documentation, everybody signs it, get the team together again to review it together so everyone is very clear on the direction of the movement of the company. That's what I would say would be the best advice I have because I have ripped the band-aid off more times than necessary. Here's what we're going to do and here's why, without even, not that you have to consult your team, but you want to mentally prepare them because change is difficult for people. And when you abruptly say non-compete, non-solicitation, and all these scary things, they're afraid. They're
yeah,
uncertain of what is your intentions? Why are you
yeah.
going so crazy on us? We're here to
Mm,
work.
mm,
They want to feel taken care of, nurtured. They don't want to feel afraid or scared, and they want to understand, how do I stay and grow? And if I choose to leave, what does that look like?
Yeah. Such wisdom. You are amazing. And I'm really thankful that you're my friend. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. It's not an easy one, but you've done so awesome in landing where you've landed. And I think a lot of owners are going to appreciate this topic. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us here week after week. If you appreciate this platform, please take a moment, leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening so that more people like you will discover Beyond the Technique, where we're here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Until next time, have an awesome day and stay strong.
Did you know over 60% of first-time clients do not return for a second visit? That is so painful, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's where Maya comes in. Maya is the ultimate marketing software for the beauty and wellness industry. We have a proprietary funnel utilizing special algorithms to help connect the right consumers with the right providers at your business. This means that Maya helps you get higher spending clients you love to work with who stay the long haul. If you want to increase your revenue, increase your client count, increase your average ticket, and increase your new client retention, then you need Maya. Go to joinmaya.com to set up your own personal virtual tour and see why over 500,000 consumers have trusted Maya and the businesses we work with to find their perfect beauty and wellness pro. We promise you will love Maya.